Oh, for sake.
Hello. Right. You can see that I am on trade. And if I zoom in, look at these pirates are now red. Piracy risk is actually getting kind of high. So it would be a good idea, not only for this starbase to connect to that one and then to connect to that one, so we could channel it all down the same way, but then to have our lads, our fleet, close trade window, patrol backwards and forwards, dissuading piracy. We're on -20, and that's going to get worse as they've just left dock. At the beginning of next month, it's going to go down a fair amount more.
Survey concluded.
-25, not as bad as it could have been. Right, we have you able to... okay, right, you're already doing it, good. We are going to get there in time. I'm pretty confident we're going to get there in time. Here's something else that we're going to do. Okay, species, we had set the default rights to residents. Now we currently have in policies refugees, citizen species only. So we're going to set the default rights to slaves so that we don't take in any unwanted refugees. Living standards, basic subsistence, soldier and colonization forbidden, population controls enabled, migration controls enabled. If we take over any planets, we don't want them leaving those planets. Now while that's happening, I'll talk about vassalizing over here. I'm talking about vassalizing these guys rather than taking their territory. They are going to be better at running their own affairs than I am, because I'm a xenophobe. I don't want all of their nasty alien pops in my society messing with my factions. Doink to doink doink doink. So if I vassalize them, they will take care of their own affairs and they won't be around bothering with my factions. They will be loyal, presumably, because I will hopefully be strong enough to make them loyal. We have encountered the Chi Menace. Who are the Chi Menace? It's another science ship. I don't know where you'll have come from. Crikey, you'll have come from God knows where. But we will research this guy. The Chi Menace. Do-do-doon, do-do-doon, do-do-doon. Right, they will hopefully be ancient Cybrex base. Yes. Research that project. Right, how many have we got on the Cybrex? Now we have 3 or 6. That'll be 4 or 6. You can go up here and spend 25 minor artifacts. I will proclaim superiority while I'm here. 25 minor artifacts to discover a precursor insight. That is a exclamation mark like that you will define, that you will find somewhere. Once you get all 6, you will have the location of the Cybrex homeworld, which hopefully will be in your space. It won't necessarily be in your space, but hopefully will be in your space, and you can go and colonize it and you'll get all sorts of benefits from whatever precursor race it was that you chose. Okay, right, so we're up to 260. I am inclined to sell 250 consumer goods and spend 125 to protect myself. Okay, fair enough, we'll sell 1,000 minerals as well to protect myself from not having enough alloys to complete that run. But I'm going to upgrade that, turn that into a anchorage. Oh, da. Yep, research. Get all that research done. Plenty of the research done. Okay, so had we built an anchorage there, I would probably have turned... Oh yes, let us join the galactic community. Intriguing. So, because we joined the galactic community, we've met all of the other empires. None of them are going to be particularly bothered about us. Most of them are probably going to end up closing borders to us because we have closed borders, but we're not going to cry about it. Yes, so I would probably have ended up turning that into the shipyard and getting rid of that one, but I'm probably going to end up moving the shipyard there now instead. You want your shipyard to be as fairly close to your threatened border. But having a centralised one is a better idea, and I might turn that into a trade protection thing for the short term, because I do have a maximum, well, not a maximum, but I have a starbase capacity of 4. I can go over that capacity, but it starts getting expensive if you do so. So when I actually so I'm going to have a Bastion starbase there. I'm going to have the new shipyard there. I'm going to be at 5 then. Hopefully by that point we will actually have gone up 1 in starbase capacity. If you do need to go up in starbase capacity, supremacy, if you adjusted by adopting supremacy, you go up by 2. Yep, lots of people closing borders to us. We knew that was going to happen. A glancing hit. I'm not going to cry about everyone closing borders to us.
Construction project
okay,
concluded.
We'll have you do that, and we'll have you get there. I was pretty confident that we were going to make it there. And we don't want to get any further out. If we go there and they take all those systems, we're going to end up with big border problems. Border friction.
System survey concluded.
Border friction will become a problem. Archaeological project completed. An interesting find. Right, you can go back onto automated. Doink, doink. Okay, once we finish that, I'm going to have one guy fill in all of the star bases on the way back, and I have the other guy come straight back here to do that. How long until you're upgraded? About half a year.
Construction project concluded.
What? No, nubbins! Fucking hellfire. Alright, fine. Right, you come back here. So we're going to send our military fleet to go and kill these irritating space menaces. They're amoebas, I believe. Oh, we can't even see them because we haven't researched them. It's annoying that they're aggressive, but whatever. I'll take that one on the chin. Doink, 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 doink. We'll leave you right on the edge there, so you can go straight in and sort them out in a bit. Right, galactic community. Alright, we're only 8 minutes in. Okay, we are going to have time to do this. Right. The galactic community is fun. It is fun. We are the least influential nation in the entire galaxy. Would you believe that? Normally I'm probably a bit better than that, but we are focusing on tech rather than ramping up factory. Okay, in the galactic community, members of the galactic community, people that clicked yes, this is a worthy endeavour, have the ability to propose resolutions, and they have the ability to undo resolutions. Resolutions can become powerful. They will also become a council of 2, 3 or 4 members. I don't think it goes up to 5, and that will be the top influencers in the galaxy, and they have things like veto power or emergency measure, or they're able to denounce members. If you are denounced, or if you are in breach of galactic law, which is going to come around by resolutions coming up. Then there are sanctions that can be put upon you, which you have no way of fighting other than either leaving the galactic community, in which case everyone will dislike you, or becoming influential and manipulating politics in your favour. How this screen actually works and why I described it as janky. Okay, you click on these and you can support, oppose, abstain, or call in favour. Call in favour is using favours from the trade screen, which I showed you in the last chunk. You would call them in. It costs influence to call in favours in the galactic community and is annoyingly expensive, and it's not particularly effective either. Okay, right. This is the proposal queue. People who support it add their diplomatic weight to it. The higher diplomatic weight support it has, the higher up the queue it is, and then it will get to the Senate floor and then it will be voted on. If you are supporting it, obviously you will immediately support it. If you are opposed to it, you will immediately be opposed to it. If you have abstained, then you will be immediately abstained. You can change your vote once every 2 years, I think. Maybe it's once every 6 months, maybe. Something like that. You can't just flip and flop all the time. But yeah, you can change your vote on that. When your first vote, you can change immediately if you want. If you just want to get it up in the proposal queue and then get rid of it, you can do that. Okay. If you oppose it in the proposal queue, it doesn't go down. It just means that you will be opposed to it when it pops up. And it does also signify to the rest of the galaxy that you are opposed to it, so they might either like or dislike you for whatever you end up doing. Okay, so in this example, the Redded Shield is a modifier. The diplomatic weight, which is these numbers here, from fleet power would increase by 20%. Now, I have a really small fleet. I don't like that. Naval capacity plus 10, which ain't a great deal of difference. I would benefit from, but wouldn't really help. Ship upkeep plus 5. I'm currently minus 20, so I'm not going to be particularly happy about that either. I'm going to oppose that. Oppose that. Alright, and it puts a little thumb there to remind you. Alright, cooperative research channels. Diplomatic weight from tech. Now, I'm not actually any better than anyone else at tech, but I'm not actually that bad at tech. Research station output plus 10%, star base keep plus 5%. I don't mind those. I'm going to abstain because I don't feel that it is particularly beneficial to me. Diplomatic weight from pops plus 20%. I have come or go higher pops than a good number of other people. Well, it's sufficient enough other people that I would probably pick myself up the bottom of the galactic community. Worker happiness plus 5%, I like that. Workers political power plus 10%, I don't like that. I'm going to oppose that, despite the fact that I would actually quite like it because it has this increase from pops. I'm not going to do that. Pan-galactic recycling initiatives. Diplomatic weight from economy minus 20%. Minus 20%, pops, goods consumer, da 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 da. I like that, I'm going to support it. Right, it moved up the queue. The others didn't move down the queue. It is important you remember that. Okay, once one resolution has been passed, we will use the Reddit Shield as an example. Okay, then the next one can be proposed, and then the next one can be proposed. It can't be proposed while it's in the queue. So you'll find most of the galaxy does most of this for you. You don't do a whole lot of clicking on things here. There also, once it's gone through, it can also be repealed. So it can be proposed, and you can go further down this queue, or then you can go back up this queue if the galactic community has decided that it wants to. It is 150 influence to do each action here. And is very often not really worth your while. Galactic priorities. Form the galactic market. Usually gets proposed pretty much immediately. The galactic market is a nice thing to have. If you don't get it, don't stress too much. All it does is change your market buying and selling fee by 10%. Currently there's a market fee of 30%, the galactic market is also 30%, but while this one, the prices are influenced by your buying and selling decisions, the galactic market is influenced by everybody's buying and selling decisions. So say there's a big war on, alloys will start getting really expensive. You might cash in because you're not in that war. You'll find minerals early on get sold off a lot, but then sort of mid to late game, and they start being bought up an awful lot because people really need bloody minerals because they're turning them into consumer goods or alloys or motes or gas or crystals or whatever they're doing with them. That is as basic as it gets. It's kind of janky because there's not really a lot of information in the user interface. You just kind of have to be aware of what's going on. You can details, what supporters, fair enough. You can see the galactic modifiers currently active, but it's not very well set out and it's not really very good. Okay, if you want to increase your influence in the galactic community, you can assign envoys to it, which will increase your diplomatic weight by 10%. Which can be very useful, particularly when there's a vote coming up that you want to succeed or fail, or if you want to get into the council. It's a bit of a waste once you get Federation. You'll also need to be assigning envoys to Federations to maintain the stability of the Federation. We probably won't do a Federation because we're xenophobes. It's sort you end up with a decision of Federation or Galactic Community. If you're xenophobes, you'll typically go Galactic Community. You're not really wanting to be in a Federation. Okay, right. We won't bother supporting anything else other than form the Galactic Market. I like that. Most of the rest of it isn't going to have enough of an impact on me. I will decide on them when they come up. You'll have a plus, you'll have a thumbs up or a thumbs down option. Icon come here. Click on that and it will take you to the center floor. Okay, right. You are waiting for the fleet to come up. You are on your way to get that. To preempt that shipyard, let's build a colony ship. Oh, we sold all our sodding consumer goods, didn't we? I think we'll buy 50 consumer goods. Sorry, we'll buy even more. And sell 100 of them. And we will start that now. We really have been hampered. We will start neatening up these all these excess nonsenses all around the place in nice good time. I cannot be bothered with this. Basically, it was something that they introduced to do in the mid game before they made the mid game interesting. You fly around the place picking up alien specimens to send to a zoo, and at the end I think you get 500 society research from it. Ultimately it's not really worth it in the end. We don't have resources to spare. The resources is my brain and I just can't be arsed with it. Okie dokie.
Construction project concluded.
Nice one. Anchorage. Okay, you come through there. Does that mean that those alien vessels are no longer there?
Concluded.
I hope not. I hope that it's actually worthwhile me sending my fleet up there to go and deal with them. I don't need to worry about them. I don't think I do anyway. Normally it's down here. Oh no, okay, we're not researching. Okay, right now. The Sovereign Sid, that's these guys, have gone into a commercial pact with the 3 League of Suns. Let's find out who you are. Okay, that was an interesting decision. We're not going to need to worry about them. You can see actually we have quite a lot of space to expand into, whereas everyone else you see is a little bit more hemmed in. Look at these poor actually no, that's the same guy as them, but them poor bastards couldn't expand at all. So your choice then was to rush habitats and grow tall, nice and quick, and concentrate on trade as well. Right, I don't think I need to worry about you. I don't imagine that you have particularly good relations with your neighbours. Nope, you sort of yeah, there's rivals going on. So I'm not bothered about that. It's good to keep it in mind, to know that it's on and off. Oh, actually, they're a federation. That's why they got trapped in. I imagine they started as a federation. The button down at Unions map mode. There's the details map mode, which will give you all of these all of the time, or turn that off for the ones that you built disappear. There's opinions, there's diplomatic. I have nothing basically to do with the rest of the world, and the rest of the world doesn't really care about me. AI attitude, some of them are hostile towards me, most of them don't really care. And neighbours, it's literally just who you are touching to be declared as neighbours. Right, okay, unpause.
System survey concluded.
I don't want you doing that anymore. I want you to hold on the side. Okay, they are getting closer, but it's not something that I'm going to worry about. It's not like they're doing that with these guys or these guys who might end up actually joining forces to enter a war with me. I don't have to worry about it because I'm xenophobe. I don't really want to care about the world. They don't expect me to want to care about the world. Right, you're sitting there. We've nearly got our fleet on the way, and it will be in position to either find out whether or not we need to kill these guys or to kill these guys when they turn up. Growth speed plus 10%. Nice. Right. There's a few of them will turn up. These aren't the repeating texts. These are just the options. Fleet command limit plus 20. There is no way I'm not taking that. Okay, fleet command limit. 24 of 30. Corvettes cost 1 command. Destroyers cost 2. Cruisers cost 4. Battleships cost 8. Titans cost 16. Pretty simple. You literally cannot break that limit. It's one of the few limits in the game that cannot be defeated, and they introduced that because there was death ball fleets. So you'd have like 600 600 Corvettes in one single fleet, and it would be completely and utterly wipe the floor with anyone that came anywhere near their way. That can go up to, I think the highest I've had it's 260. I think maybe it's 250.
Research concluded.
Physics and research has increased. Okay, planetary FTL inhibitors is a complicated subject. It is not something that you can ever possibly skip, in my opinion. When you get planetary FTL inhibitors, if you have a starbase in the system, it'll get a little green magnet at the bottom of it, and if it's an opponent's one, it'll have a little red magnet. Okay, while that starbase is undefeated, then the people, anyone trying to fly in that is hostile to you or can't get through your space or whatever, closed borders, you shouldn't be able to get there for closed borders, but if they're hostile to you and they're flying through, they cannot get past that that FTL inhibitor other than going back the way they came. They cannot progress further. You can also have that on your colonies. I'm not actually going to replace it, I'm just using it as a demonstration. On upgraded strongholds, not strongholds but fortresses. So the tooltips say stronghold, but they're lying. It's fortresses. And in that case, then they need to conquer the planet in order to progress past the system. So if I were to have a starbase here with an FTL inhibitor that was a really strong starbase, they wouldn't be able to sneak in and go around the sides and go into the rest of my empire. They'd have to find that starbase or leave. If I had a planet in that system or a habitat, you can do it with habitats as well. Even if they defeat the starbase, they have to defeat the planet in order to progress. It's a very, very good way of crowd control, stopping fleets just marauding through your empire. Typically you will want to try to use those kinds of powers to prevent your home starbase from falling, because if your home starbase falls, all of your trade goes, and I mean, we are obviously reliant on trade now. We're getting 42 energy from trade, and we're getting 21 consumer goods from trade. We're really quite reliant on it. Okay, right. Continue. You're going to be up there in a minute. We'll find out when you get there. What are we on? 25 minutes. What are you doing? You're just doing some researchy type stuff. Okay, right. We are going over our Empire Sprawl. This is going to be our bureaucratic centre. We're currently of 8 pops.
Anomaly found.
Research, please. We only have one robot and one of the random species. I am going to transfer one. Actually,
Research concluded.
no, I'm going to transfer one guy from there onto there. Actually, no, they'll grow fast enough. So I'm going to resell. Okay. For the Grand Pact. We need those minerals. 300 minerals. This is a story where a cargo container from the Grand Pact has found their way into our territory and is kind of lost. We can take the minerals, 300 minerals, not really very much, and that will piss them off, or we can say we won't risk an altercation, we'll give them back. We want anything that we had in the first place. We will get 100 influence, I think, and they will like us. It's very, very rarely ever worth taking the minerals. Crystal mines have been researched. Okay. I think it's time that we start upgrading guns on ships. Colony, you want to move over there. Okay, right, yes, I was going to resell. You're about to finish growing anyway, because I don't think that's worthwhile, so I will not bother doing that. Do I want another generator district? I think I probably am. I'll come back to that later, because it's not a pressing concern, but it's likely. Okay, right, here's our fleet going in. Our pleasure frowning. Yes, 100 influence. Nice. And plus 20 opinion. And 1 favour to use. Okay, they're not there anymore. Thank you. Get in there. Get in there quick. Right, so you can't control. Senate's now in session. We're voting on pan-galactic recycling initiatives. I approve all of these things. Approve of, even. Yes, so you can't control fleet engagements. The most control you can get is to find out what ships they have, what their loadout is, and design your ships to better combat that loadout. This is a pretty standard design by my world. Perhaps the AI would build the ships differently. It would say auto best. I would argue that most of the time they don't provide the best. They're no longer so focused on picket ships as they used to be. Picket ships. You're going to ship designer. Yes, point defense and flak batteries. Now, point defense protects the ship itself, and flak batteries protect other ships from missiles and from fighter craft. Missiles and fighter craft, by and large, are not affected by shields. Have shield penetration and extra hull damage. Okay, let's just forget that I ever touched that. Okay, right. Kinetic weapons and energy weapons, lasers. Kinetic weapons do extra shield damage, and lasers do extra extra armor damage, but they do less shield damage, whilst kinetics do less armor damage. You get many different types of ship weapons. I think there's 8 different types of ship weapons you can choose from, and they all have different levels. They all have different ranges and average damage per day as well. Swarms will close into a range of I think 10. It might be even basically 0. So it doesn't really matter what your range is. Lines will advance to medium range, 50. So if they have a range of 50, they have a range of 50. If there's anything out of that range, they'd have to wait for the ships to come to them before they could shoot them, such as point defense or flax would need to do. There are things called evasion, which is based on basically the speed and nimbleness of the ship. That makes them harder to hit, versus tracking, which is another of the attributes of the weapons. Basically speaking, you want a nice full spread of all kinds of weapons, and to average your shields and your armour, as long as you can power the amount of average shields you've got. As a rule of thumb, the closer into the fight they are, the less you want to rely on shields and the more rely on armour, because lasers have a shorter range, and they do more damage to armour. It's not like they're going to stop having lasers if you have shields, but your shields will already be down by the time you get there, because you've taken all of that damage incoming. So the kinetics will hit you, will hit all your ships. You'll have shields go down on most of your swarm ships at least, and by the time they arrive, they'll have taken as little damage as possible. Until then, they end up getting taken out once they arrive and they're already able to do all their fighting. You might find stronger, better ways to do it. There'll be a meta. Look into it as much as you want to look into it. I go for really rather standardised patterns, unless I particularly feel like doing something like torpedoes. Torpedoes can be very strong. Right, we're going to make another anchorage there, and for the sake of it, I might as well build a resource silo there. So that will take us up to 32. These guys, I want them back in dock, and actually I might as well upgrade them. You have nearly finished that.
System survey concluded.
Doink, doink, doink. Right, yeah, we already know about that. We are nearly out of money. Worth flogging 1,000 of them, and I'd probably also say sell one to collectors. We can't proclaim superiority just yet. Museum exhibitions. It increases the effectiveness of culture workers. Culture workers are of monuments or of entertainment forums. If I here these hollow theatres, or I don't even have monuments. No, there we go, monuments. And they can be a very, very, very powerful way to spend your minor artifacts in order to increase the society and the unity production of those buildings. Well worth looking into if and when you want to do it. I do find that I do that quite rarely, but it is worth the time. Right, I was holding you on hand standby because if they were destroyed, then they would leave debris. We will see that at some other point in the future instead. Yep. Why did you even go there and then stop? You make no sense. Why, in fact, you should be fucking assisting research. I must have done that with some odd random click of the wrist. You are already doing that. Let's have you go into orbit of the planet, ready to colonize. Okay, right, we're going to close down star bases on the outline because we don't need to see that. Okay. Very soon as we can. we are going to turn that into a bastion. At the end of the month, come on. Come on now. There you go.
Evading hostiles.
Who are these guys? Oh, what? You bastards! Where do you come from? God's sake. But if you want to hotkey these guys, by the way, Control and 1. You can hotkey pretty much anything, to be honest. Well, Control and whatever hotkey you want to use. Well, that's frustrating and irritating. I didn't realise you were there. Never mind. Okay. We are good for consumer goods. And honestly, if we produce if we build commercial zones, that'll give us 10 trade, 5 jobs at 2 each. So 5 jobs will in total create 10 amenities and 10 trade. I am thinking to go in that direction, but I'm also thinking to go for noble estates. Extra stability and extra rulers. I think I'm going to do that. Having some extra rulers on that planet will come in quite handy. It's only going to give us 1 extra job, whereas commercial zones have already given us 5. So I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to put the next job. We're not building robots on this planet, so it would be wise to make the next one a generator district. You neither amenities or I'm going to have to give you another city. Because we're full on amenities already. Over here, we have no jobs lined up, but we are making robots. I would say it's wise to do food because we have a nice bank of minerals. We don't have very many minerals coming in. I quite like to improve the amount of minerals we've got coming in, but with only +4 food, we are going to find ourselves short on food pretty soon. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. I'm annoyed with the fact that you exist. I didn't realise you exist. I don't think you ever did exist before. Maybe we unleashed you before. Okay, right, whilst you're off, let's build those crystals there. We'll start building up a bank of them and we'll sell them or use them as we see fit. Why have you stopped? Get over here, you ticks. Ticks, tits, dicks, ticks, dicks. Okay. I'm not particularly panicking about taking this extra bit of bollock up here. I mean, I could, but I've got better things to be looking at. I've got all this shit down here to be looking at, all this shit over here to be looking at. I don't so much care about that. Yes, good, you are building the minor stations. No, go away. Right, you have unemployed people. We will upgrade the building, and remember, that's how we do it. And I'm going to throw a gene clinic on there. I know I'm not. Admin offices. I want to throw a gene clinic on it because I want that planet to get up and big and catch up with this planet as much as we can. Because we've got 20 people on this planet. Our capital is gimped. Our capital really should be at about 60 pop by now. I mean, fair enough, I have transferred about 8, maybe 10 pops off it myself, but it's been real gimped. If I had left migration disabled, this would have not been. This would have been at about 50. But that is the way that it goes. Well, maybe 50 is an exaggeration. 45 probably more likely. Colony ship, we're waiting for the bloody
Construction project
military to
complete.
come back and clear the way so we can build that. Right. We want to be reinforcing the fleet. A comet, and it was uneventful. We don't care. Well, I mean, it's nice to look at, nice to see. Oh, short, right. We on 40 bloody minutes. We're going to stop there, and we're going to carry on pretty much straight immediately.
Oh, for sake.